Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. Everybody, welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. So, guys, I hope you're well. Today is 1 a.m., so we're technically on December 4th. And there's a lot going on. Okay. I had selected several other pieces of news that I was going to talk about, but something came up about the Tennessee elections and the outcome. I had not, to be honest, I had not looked into it before, and it was funny because even though, well, right before, I would see the headlines that the candidate, the Democrat, was performing well. Something about it, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just had this feeling, but again, it wasn't. I didn't look into it, so I can't say it. Even though the Democrat was doing really well, and then we saw that she lost. Now, I'll also be honest that when I saw the result, without knowing, without having followed it very deeply, like many of you have, when I saw the result, I didn't think much of it because it's a deep red section. I mean, a deep red area of Tennessee. But then I received the message from this will hold, right? And it's interesting. There's a lot of irregularities. So let's look into it. Okay. I know, and honestly, earlier I had a weird day today, and earlier when I saw this, it's one of those things, right? It's very upsetting because, of course, you want like when, right? It's like, come on, are we ever going to get rid of this? Like, is it over? When you start thinking like that, because it's very upsetting. But I'm going to read. I'm going to show you the article. I'm going to read through it, and then I'm going to look into it. Okay. And I'm kind of glad I didn't look into this before because it's one of those things that it is just so upsetting, even the thought of it. So I'm not like, doesn't make sense. I wasn't following. So I feel like I'm in a way more objective, more detached. And also I remember listening to the female candidate. She was really amazing. And I thought, wow, it makes sense that she would win because she's so relatable. She's so great. But now we have the outcome. So let's see. Okay, let me find the email that I received and I'll read it with you. So here's from Something is Sour in Tennessee, and it's not the whiskey. How does 99.4% reporting turn into 31,000 more ballots? Remember last week when we covered the 5 fake counties in the 2024 DDHQ data feed and the millions of votes that disappeared for VP Harris in real time? After watching that circus play out, there was no way we were going to sleep on Tennessee. What happens in this race defies math procedure and even DDHQ's own brag about 40 updates per minute. With the race already called, DDHQ displayed 99.4% reporting and 148,853 votes counted, signaling to viewers that the finish line had essentially been crossed. At 99.4, we're not talking about thousands of ballots left to count. The math isn't mathing again. That 99.4 means the remaining ballots should have numbered at most around 1,000. Instead, the final certified tally jumped to 179,899. Sorry. An increase of more than 31,000 ballots after the race was supposedly essentially finished. There isn't a legitimate scenario where 0.6 of precincts suddenly produces a 70% surge in total votes, which is why the data looks like this. We see stuffing, and it's not in last week's turkey. Our previous articles exposed similar data patterns that looked like a vote flipping algorithm, and frankly, Those could have been a mix of everything the GOP used to swing elections in their favor, from untested and uncertified equipment in North Carolina to the whistleblower articles the EAC forged accreditation letter for pro-VNV. It's clear the GOP has no bottom when it comes to swinging elections in their favor. But the jump from 99% reporting at 148,853 853 votes to a final total of 179,899 votes, an increase of more than 31,000 ballots after the ballot. It's statistically absurd. The public is asking for an immediate manual hand count of the ballots. This race demands a full and transparent investigation into ballot handling and chain of custody for both Rep. Afton Ban and the voters of the 7th District. And this is there's recommendations here. Again, this is I subscribe to the newsletter, and so this is that now. Now let's look. Okay, what happened here? And guys, honestly, I of course, I want to give you good news, right? It's always, I'm biased in that way, but I want to know the truth, okay, really, because sometimes it's like, it's been what, 40 years of how long have they been doing this? Because the public has already changed. The public does not want what they're selling, what they're stuffing into our mouths or whatever this is. Okay. So I don't know. Without this, getting to the bottom of this and then seeing, what? I was just seeing that, for example, Hakeem Jeffries was just I actually having to look into the so-called, now this some billionaire put some money for children supposedly, but I see right through it. And what they want is to have this money so that this money could be invested in their companies. And they are Elon Musk's of the world. Is not a savings account. It's some kind of like shady investment account that they're basically forcing citizens into. Okay. So it's just gross. Honestly, this whole thing, I'm so tired of this bullshit. Sorry. But let's see. Let's see. So let's do the protection. I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and on the goodness of it. So, Spirit, what happened here in Tennessee? Who won? Who won in terms of the votes before in truth, in actuality? Okay, and tell me if there was nothing wrong. Also, tell me what happened here. Tell me exactly what happened. So I see, so it shows me this image of crowds coming to vote, and there was a lot of blue people, right? Wearing blue shirts, meaning Democrats. And they came in, they were more passionate than the red voters. And before this whole thing happened, they calculated how much the ratio they would need in order to flip the vote. So it tells me that once they reached a certain mass number, let's say, for example, that there had been 50,000 votes. When a certain number was reached, then they did the algorithm thing where they created a ratio. And it said that what I got here is that they had to start calling the votes early because it's like it's almost shows me like a wave. So you have to kind of create the wave that will go out before the real truth comes out. So they said that they're basically we cannot wait until all the votes are counted. We have to put out, right? Because the whole secret is like for them is to call it out early. And it's this algorithm that gets triggered in the counting, in the place that counts, like it tallies up the totals. Okay. And then I see the vote, the thing being turned on, electricity turned on and off. And you know, and then I see going forward in the future that there will be a call, you know, there will call out the elections as being a national security issue, that the elections have been infiltrated by uh at this point local, right? Like national, international, like foreign and domestic enemies, right? And that the votes have to be counted by hand and they have to be recounted, right? It has to be the FBI has to be involved in all the counts. And they will have to start a new because anytime these machines are connected to the internet, that's what creates this. And I see they have to do this in what they call skiffs. Skiffs are these very secure rooms where there's no internet, like you can't access. I think there's no internet in them, something like that. Right? It's where a lot of like you can't transmit things from them. So so this is what I think. Now, again, honestly, I don't want to like be mean to Democrats or something, but it's like it's exhausting. Okay. And to see people like, I'm sorry, I have to call them out, like Hakeem Jeffries, like, go with Ted Cruz. Oh yeah, Ted Cruz and I love this new initiative where they're depositing $350 into the accounts of children. So what? Just so their companies could be again taking the money of the taxpayer, taking our future. That's not okay. That's not okay. So I don't know. Again, you understand, guys, it's very hard because, again, I don't know the point in any of this. Like, sometimes, like some of the Democrats, they don't fight hard enough for this. And then, I'm telling you this, and then I'm reminded of what Kamala said in her tour. She said, the system is broken, right? Yes, the system is broken, truly. And so that's a story. Okay. I was worried because, and now here we are. Like I was worried because of all this stuff that is, you know, uh, like I thought it was just going to be Elon Musk, but no, he doesn't have to be directly involved now. He probably created this whole system. And I saw some quote about from him saying something like, "Oh, I foresee 12 years of Trump and JD Vance." Like, no, the truth is, we have these basically terrorists at the top. That's what these people are. So God, give me strength, okay, because I don't know what can we do? Saying the truth is coming, it tells me. And it's saying it's gonna take, this massive, it's like, say, how do I even say it? It's gonna take these patriots or whoever are these people that work inside the government that will maybe do something, right, in December or soon about trash. And then we'll, have this thing, the truth about what's going on. And it's saying, Rosie, of course, those billionaires took control of the press, right? Not 100% completely, but very, very close to it. And they don't want to talk about the truth because if the press were tasked with finding out the truth, right, instead of covering up for the administration, we would be in a different place. But I'm getting, it's interesting, as upsetting as all of this is, I am getting that really it's going to get better. Okay, it's going to get better and the truth's going to come out. All right, so let me just ask with using the cards. The question is what happens? All right, and then like what happened in the election and what happens next? Okay, so what happened in the elections? So what happens next? All right, so let's see. All right, so already division. So let's see what the cards say here about this. What happens? Interesting because it's the same card. Okay, mature woman. Okay, inexperienced or wealth. Okay, what happened in the election? And why did he? You know what? Let me just reshuffle because I'm thinking. Did I ask? I'm a stickler for. I think I really believe in questions, so I have to be very clear. What happened in the elections that made the Republican win? Was it okay? Because I need to. Okay, so that's the thing I want to know. He was declared the winner, but did he really have more votes, or was there some kind of technology situation happening? Okay, so all right, so let's see. All right, work, money, new person. Okay, new beginning. Initiate information. Sad letter. Okay. Mm, okay, woman. Lies. Oh. Mm. Now let's see here. First, we have occupation, which is a card of work. Scholar upside down data, issues with data about the wound. It could be data transmission information. Here we have a lot of money, upset, and then lies or treachery. Then we have the child. Letter could be votes, could be information, hope. Okay. Let me ask, I want to know this because I feel like still I want more detail. Because here, this one does not look, honestly, to the one of the right, does not look terrible. So was it a legitimate election? Yes or no? What happened? What happened there? This is now adjudication is negotiation, decision. Again, money, lots of money, false person. Now, I forgot something. Sometimes money or lots of something, because you see lots of coins, can mean lots of something. So it could be lots of votes in this case. Now, decision for so false person definitely is not a great card for this. I mean, it's not a okay. Military, a man, jealous. Okay, all right. Now, it's also funny. Remember this card? I made fun of it the other day. By the way, these cards are actually Hungarian. I found it on Amazon because I like the gypsy, the Sibylla, there's Italian cards called Sibylla style. And then I kind of like that style. It's a bit mixed between, I think, the Kipper and then the Sibylla style, but it's quite unique. But I find these illustrations so fast. Look at this. Hmm. But what I like about this card, is that there's something is happening and he's watching. Somebody is watching. So yes, he's jealous, but I think there's somebody watching. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe in all, maybe I'm in my Pollyanna, maybe all is lost. Okay, enemy. That's right. That's right. Enemy, ideas, plans, money. That's right. So, did he win? Did the Republican win fair and square? Did the voters really choose him? Let's just ask. The man here, lover, male lover, wife, business. This is actually not his real life. It could be, but it's usually business partners. This is very powerful people that are his business partners, people who want him to win. Women. Okay. Your gift. Wow. Look, misfortune. Doctor is the advisor, whoever the advisor, an advisor, professional advisor for a long time. Big prize. The big prize. It, there's misfortune here. Business partners worked on it for a long time and gave him a gift. Yeah, so it does look like there's a lot of people behind this win. And it tells me I just get the whispers you're saying, no, Rosie, of course not. It wasn't fair and square. So I have a question. If there hadn't been electronic data transmission, let's just say, if there was no internet, would the count have shown that would the results show that she won? Does it make sense? Because I think some in the data transmission, that's what it looks like they've done. So what the real numbers before they're manipulated. Who is the winner? Who got the most votes in reality? Okay, the truth. Tell us the truth. Nothing but the truth. Old woman. Okay, fake friend. Okay, this. Yeah. Now, old woman is also tradition. Okay, usually it's a card that says for tradition. False friends, they're desperate. They've done desperate things. Okay. Despair, it could also mean that they would do something crazy. Now, here's a judge. An expected a house. Could be the White House. Expectation, waiting, despair, woman. Yeah. Despair, the White House, a woman. And it's interesting, right? Despair here and despair here. Surprise. They have to put, yeah. So, guys, it's funny. I'm just, I guess, trying to get the benefit of a doubt. But there's just something, and it's interesting. I don't know. There's other cards, I guess. Let me just see the tarot because the cards are so collective. Like if it had been, if either one candidate had been, like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if it was just about the people voting, but I just see powerful people behind the win here. Okay. And so they were desperate. They feel like they had to win this. And I see Mike Johnson. So let's see. Now I want to know. So tell me. Yeah, it's saying they were willing to do anything. They had to win this seat. Okay, this is interesting. It's a card of Four of Pentacles upside down. Greed, not wanting to lose something. Oh, painful ending. Fake. Okay, offer. They were desperate. They were greedy. So, so yeah, it looks like they meddled. So what about the fact? So because the other thing was, guys, the news was reporting that Republicans are really, even though they won, they're really freaking out over it. And I think it's because, again, they must know that it was not a fair win either. Right? Oh my God, guys, it's so okay. So what happens next? How is this going to be solved? Is it going to be solved? Are we going to have fair elections? Oh my God. Woman, private, mature woman, private in the house. White. Okay, could be Kamala. Truly. What's next? Waiting for friend. Baby in the beginning. Okay, wow. Prison. Look, this card doesn't. This is like a great card here. Prison. Yeah, upside down. So the when are we expecting for now prison upside down, it means like it's bad. In this style of card, the upside down is bad. Okay. We're happy when they go to prison. Sorrow. Okay, but there's sorrow. That's right. Yeah, and it really we have to wait for prison for them to go to prison. Are we going to have future elections that are fair? Marriage, deal, and surprises about the man. Meetings. Now, soldier upside down, it could be shady, covert planning. Wow, ending. Wow, look, that's it. Deals with the enemy in anger. So, it also shows you that there are operations, even as we have this so-called president at the moment. Um, wow. Yeah, it's saying, okay, I have a question. Am I going to live to see it, fair elections in this country? I'm going to live to see it. In my lifetime, will there be elections like that? Where, okay, and what is the difference? It shows me the first thing that I see is the men, Trump being arrested and going to prison, and them too. It's saying without them going to prison, nothing is going to happen until people go to prison, because that is the only way you can stop it. Is to stop. It's like stop walking on eggshells. These people are criminals. They never go to prison, right? And it shows me also actually Hakeem Jeffries. It's not that I want to pick on him, but it's saying that when we get money from, because I think, by the way, I noticed that Hakeem Jeffries is sort of okay with crypto, which I really am not at all. So these are similar to the donors that are like pushing all these things. Some of them are involved in crypto. So it's a real problem when elections are bought like that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, well, my donor, I owe them this and that. And it's like, that's how you get total corruption. Did you see, by the way, that Trump, I need to look into Trump pardoned a Democrat in Texas. So, but I get that he's like kind of shady. And then it's like a way to buy their like loyalty, right? So, this is the situation. All right. Okay, so here we are. All right, okay. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay?